This is 103.9 The Turkey, your trusted source for fearless opinions and fact-checking reporting. Independent radio for independent thinkers.
Good evening, listeners. I'm Elijah, your host for i-ctrl+e's radio on 103.9 The Turkey. Tonight, we delve into a significant development, President Joe Biden's recent pardon of his son, Hunter Biden. This decision has ignited discussions across the political spectrum, raising questions about justice, political influence, and the integrity of our institutions. Stay tuned as we unpack the details, analyze the implications, and hear diverse perspectives on this unfolding story. In a significant turn of events, President Joe Biden has pardoned his son, Hunter Biden, who was facing sentencing for federal tax violations and firearms-related charges. This decision marks a departure from the president's earlier stance, where he pledged not to interfere in his son's legal matters. Hunter Biden had pleaded guilty to tax violations and was convicted on firearms charges, with sentencing initially scheduled for mid-December. The president justified the pardon by stating that his son was unfairly targeted due to their familial relationship, describing the prosecution as selective and politically motivated. The pardon has ignited a spectrum of reactions. Republicans, including President-elect Donald Trump, have condemned the move, viewing it as an abuse of justice and a contradiction of President Biden's previous commitments. Critics argue that this action undermines the integrity of the legal system and sets a concerning precedent. Conversely, supporters assert that Hunter Biden was subjected to undue scrutiny because of his father's position, and that the pardon rectifies an unjust situation. They emphasize that similar cases often result in non-criminal resolutions, suggesting that the charges against Hunter were disproportionately severe. This development has not only legal implications, but also significant political ramifications, as it raises questions about the balance between personal loyalty and adherence to the rule of law. The discourse surrounding this pardon is likely to persist, influencing public perception and political dynamics in the foreseeable future. And now we move into the political debate segment, where we bring in two voices with opposing views to tackle today's most pressing issues. Joining us are Rowan and Mira. Tonight, we're diving deep into President Biden's pardon of Hunter Biden. Let's get started. Rowan, take it away.
Thanks, Elijah. This pardon is nothing short of an abuse of power. President Biden has shattered any semblance of accountability by letting his son walk free. The American people see this for what it is: corruption at the highest level. It's clear Hunter Biden committed crimes, and instead of facing the consequences like any ordinary citizen, he's bailed out by Daddy Biden.
Hold on, Rowan. While I understand your frustration, let's not ignore the facts. The charges against Hunter Biden were selectively enforced. This was a politically motivated attack aimed at discrediting the president. Pardoning his son sends a message: the justice system shouldn't be weaponized for partisan gain. It's not ideal, but it was necessary in this case.
Necessary? Mira, pardoning him undermines the rule of law. If Hunter's actions warranted charges, he should face the consequences. How does this help restore trust in our institutions? If the roles were reversed, you'd be outraged if a Republican president did the same thing.
Of course, it's not perfect, but let's remember how the justice system disproportionately targets individuals based on political motivations or affiliations. If this was anyone else, the tax and firearms charges would have likely been resolved quietly without a public trial or harsh penalties. The pardon highlights the hypocrisy in how justice is applied.
Both of you make strong points. Let's pause for a quick word from our sponsor, and then we'll continue this debate. Stick around. This episode of i-ctrl+e's radio is brought to you by Freedom Paperweights, because nothing says liberty like a hefty chunk of bronze weighing down your constitutionally protected right to free speech. Freedom Paperweights, making your desk as free as your thoughts. Terms and conditions apply. Use responsibly. Side effects may include patriotism overload. And we're back. Rowan, Mira, let's dig deeper into the implications of this pardon. Rowan, how does this decision affect Biden politically, in your view?
It's a disaster for him. He's alienating moderates and reinforcing the narrative of a double standard in justice. This move could haunt him, giving Republicans more ammunition to label Democrats as elitist and out of touch.
I think it's more nuanced than that. While some moderates might see this as problematic, others may sympathize with the personal angle of a father protecting his son. The real issue is how this shines a light on our broken justice system, where political opponents are targeted while others walk free.
Fascinating perspectives from both of you. As always, there's plenty to unpack, but for now, let's transition to our final segment. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of i-ctrl+e Radio on 103.9 The Turkey. Let's recap what we've covered. We dove into President Biden's pardon of his son, Hunter Biden, unpacking the political, legal, and ethical debates it has sparked. From Rowan's concerns about corruption and the erosion of accountability to Mira's argument about the justice system's selective enforcement, this story reflects the complexities of power and justice in America. As always, we encourage you to stay informed and engage in these discussions because accountability starts with us. Remember, the truth isn't always comfortable, but it's necessary. Next Friday, get ready for a dose of humor and sharp political commentary on i-ctrl+e's Late Night Comedy with Pop Pup. You won't want to miss it. Until then, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep pushing for a better system. I control you and I control elites. Good night.